Hello again, everyone. Thank you for coming back, or thank you for visiting the first time. If you're visiting for the first time, I suggest watching a couple of the previous videos about the right hand, or for left-handed players, the left hand, because the playing hand is going to be essential for creating balance with the fretting hand. And we're going to talk about that today in this exercise, what I call sliding 2.0. And sliding for me is a great way to understand pressure control, because a lot of times as guitarists there's a temptation to want to squeeze with the fretting hand, in this case my left hand. If you're a right-handed player, or excuse me, a left-handed player, it's the right hand. But the problem with this is that there's, as I talk about a little bit in the previous sliding video, there's an issue. When you start using your thumb as a pressure applicator, there's a couple issues that happen. One, you start to create a locking motion. But two, it often begins to separate the leverage of your arm from your hand a little bit. And I'll talk a little more about this in a moment. But the idea is we want fluidity like pianists. Many years ago, pianists used to play with their thumbs underneath the keyboard. And it was Bach, if I understand it correctly, who started using his thumb. And that was an advance in the technique of piano. So similarly, we need to do something with guitar, but it's a little more complicated than that. So just for a moment, like I've talked about before, just kind of get into your hands and kind of find yourself here for a moment. And it's like that ability when you know someone is standing too close to you in line, like you're just standing there and then all of a sudden you're like, geez, you're really close. There's a way to sense that energy in your own hands. And if you can't sense it, just start by touching and then see if you can feel that heat, or there's even a magnetic field that you have because you have current in your body. It's small, but we're very sensitive. And get into your fingertips, and let's do this. So our thumb is a great coach, and so a lot of times we do things like this because it feels comfortable, and it gives us, I don't know, a precision. I call this the watchmaker. This is a great thing if you just need to do tiny motions, and we do it all the time. Not only does the thumb apply pressure in that sense, but it's a light pressure. Now let's do another one. So if you've done the joint review, which I also recommend doing, you know that you can fold your fingers there and it creates a long motion. We use this a lot in guitar playing, especially for the playing hand. But this time we're going to kind of find that with our fretting hand as well. And we're just going to do this. We did this before in the previous video for the right hand. That think about swinging your fingertips from this joint as kind of like they're dead weights, and then being with your fingertips as you send them out and in. You notice you get a lot more speed that way. And it doesn't feel like that, but I can see it on the screen. So after you get this, there's the third thing I want you to do is to squeeze your thumb and your middle finger and exaggerate it and move your fingers. And you notice there's a certain amount of attention. Now, you can lighten that up. But if you go to your ring finger, your pinky becomes kind of non-existent. And there's a lot of guitar players out there whose pinkies are not very useful. And it's because they're using the thumb in this way. Now, if you start using your pinky, people are like, my hands become slow. And it's because you're locking. And if you remember from the joint review, the mechanical advantage of our arm is determined by this side of our hand. And if you're lifting things, you generally lift with these and you steer with these. Okay, so why does this matter? Now, when you come to sliding, having this playing hand that moves gives us a remarkable leverage, because you have to have something to balance this. I was talking to a physical therapist and they were like, well, if you don't have your thumb there, what do you do? Well, you use this side of your arm. And if you notice, now you've got a much bigger lever to apply pressure to. Additionally, you've got so much more power because your hands can only apply so much power. Your arms, obviously, are much bigger and stronger. So how do we do this, though? How do we get to a point where we can apply pressure like pianists, but use the thumb to help us feel precise? This is the sliding. And as I've done in the previous sliding videos, just start with your pinky finger, maybe on the first string or the sixth, anywhere, and just slide it along until there's this magic thing that happens where your thumb just follows your pinky. And you can even tell yourself, self, follow my pinky tip as I send it towards the bridge. And it's very important you get that magical thing where the thumb just takes care of itself. Like so. And now do the same thing with your ring finger, just checking in with yourself if you feel kind of out of it, like you're leaping out to a camera, for example. I'm going to do the middle finger, same thing, but as I do the other fingers, when I say other than pinky, I am following my pinky finger still. The direction is the same. Self, follow your pinky finger tip as you send your index finger down the string. Okay, let's see what happens. Hey, it works. Great. Now, start going the other direction. Maybe start pinky. Let's try ring. And this is from sliding 1.0. And then there was a 2-finger slide. But I like to do another thing now called switching. And so I'm going to start with my pinky. And if you can see this on the smaller camera here. And I'm going to switch to my ring. And I exaggerated the motion there. But here's the... As I go up. And then as I go down, I go the opposite direction. I start with my middle. So... Pinky to ring. Ring to pinky. Otherwise, it becomes a hammer-on exercise, which is cool, but that's kind of the next step. Then let's do pinky to middle. If you can see that. It's pretty subtle. And I kind of just at one point when I feel secure, I just let go. Now let's do pinky and index, or your fourth and first finger of the fretting hand. Cool, so we've got some switching. Now you're going to do 3 fingers. That was pinky middle, pinky ring middle. And then you're going to do the opposite. Same thing on a different string. And then you can go pinky, middle, index. And then you can even do ring, middle, index. Look at the camera. Ring, middle, index. But following the pinky. Okay, now, the next thing I like to do is a variety of pairs. Now, I've done this before where you slide various shapes, 2-finger shapes. You can do it in thirds. But I also like to now include switching into those shapes. Playing hand. We'll let that ring just to enjoy it. Anything you come up with. Then you can even do non-parallel shapes. So you can start, say, with this 10th and then switch to... Can you see that? So I'm starting here, and I'm going to change to that shape. So you get... Aha. And now you can also do... Or you could do together... I don't know if you saw that, but I was doing a fourth and then changing to a minor third. You can change back. Cool. And then you can also maybe find excerpts. Like this is something from Torina's Fandaglio. You have this... Then you've you've got this. Right? That. Look for excerpts like that for your left hand to work on, or your fretting hand if you are a left-handed player. Yeah, so that is the sliding 2.0. Hopefully that gives you some more things to work on. I find it just reinvigorating to really think about what I can do with my left hand and how it can control pressure. And as I'm doing this, the thing I forgot to mention the whole time is that you have all this wonderful movement of the arm balancing. So if you're feeling tight in that shoulder, come back to the right hand exercise and feel that movement. So that when I'm doing this sliding, I don't know if you noticed, but I was doing something with my right hand, leading it, moving it in ways counter. A lot of it I don't even know what I'm doing anymore, but play with it. You can move this way, you can do that. Oh, but then it gets harder, right? So let it come over the guitar, like so. Okay, see you in the next video.